My neighbor next to me has an unhappy relationship. The neighbor above me is gay and has dreams of going to Broadway. He also might be an insomniac. Apartment dwellers of Reddit, what secrets have you learned about your neighbors through your paper-thin walls? What's up, viewer? Welcome back. I'm Andrew, and I'll be your narrator for the story time today. Since you're here, why not like the video, subscribe and ring the bell button so we don't miss any more story times together. And if you don't, I'll tell everyone in your family about your weirdly specific crossdressing fetish. Alright, let's get to business and start these stories. It turns out that they don't spend any time in their apartment and instead have hour-long conversations outside my ducking door in the hallway. My neighbor has been learning to play guitar for almost a year now. He's gotten a lot better. My neighbor's teenage daughter sent some nudes via Facebook and got caught by her mom. That girl got yelled at like I've never heard. And I heard it all because I turned off everything in my place that made noise and stood with my ear against the wall basically the entire time. My neighbors used to get really high and make crazy food and eat snacks loudly late into the night. My favorite thing I ever heard as I was passing by was, "Dude. Yes. And then put some ducking cheese in it, dude. You mean stuff it in inside the bell pepper? Duck, yes. And then put that crap in the oven." Loud moaning. I had cops called on me for suspected domestic abuse when I was fresh out of college. I lived alone at the time, and what happened was I beat the crap out of my box fan after a 5-game losing streak on a StarCraft II ladder. Edit. For those wondering, the box fan did not press charges, but no longer lives with me either. When I was younger, I moved into this new apartment complex. First night there, it started. Sex noises. Every night around 11 p.m. I hear this couple having sex, loud sex. I admit that I found it a bit entertaining because it never went on for too long until a couple weeks later. I see the guy walking out of his apartment. 75 years old and quite husky. Nobody was having sex. I was listening to his porn over surround sound. My Chinese neighbor sings to someone through the phone about 3 nights a week. I don't know what he is saying, but it sounds like he really loves whoever it is he is singing to. I don't really get annoyed by it because I think it's a pretty sweet thing to do. It's to the point now that if I don't hear singing for a while, I get a little worried about him. Edit. I've seen him on the balcony a few times and once in his car in the parking lot. That's how I know he is singing into his phone. My neighbor is the perfect neighbor, single guy in his 40s, he makes no noise and is rarely home. I see him leaving sometimes in the morning, always in a suit and tie, hair perfectly combed, and he drives a BMW M6. But one weekend each month his 2 sons come to visit him. They're both pretty young, and the week before they come I have heard him on the balcony talking with someone on the phone about the plans he's made to do with his boys once they're there. Also, once they're at his apartment I can hear him read to them every night before bed. Lived in a 4-apartment strip back in the 90s. Quiet, peaceful, perfect. One Saturday afternoon, I'm sitting on the couch watching TV and heard a gunshot. Second later, another. I run next door and pound on the door, can't get in. So I call 911, tell them this, and the cops show up pretty quick. Turns out the elderly couple next door did a murder-suicide pact. That their obnoxious music played late at night is played through a Bluetooth device that I can control. Edit. Here's a little backstory on how I found it for those asking. I had purchased an Amazon Echo device and was setting it up when I realized there was a device available to connect to called Vizio Soundbar. I connected to it and played a song from my phone. Instantly I knew I struck gold when the walls started shaking and my wife runs in the room to complain about the neighbors. I said, "No babe, that was me, I'm connected to their stereo, let our petty revenge begin." My neighbor that lives below us likes to get gang-banged by groups of dudes twice her size, and she's not exactly petite. I was suspicious when a group of dudes showed up after her boyfriend moved out. Loud music was playing, so I figured it was just a party and a group of dudes showed up at the same time. Then the music shuts off in the living, but turns on in the bedroom. Proceed to hear dudes cheering each other on, her asking them to give her more dick, high fives and other slappy sounds. It was awkward getting the mail the next day as she slowly walked her dog. She looked like she was hurting. My upstairs neighbor is a fast learner. About a year ago he started practicing basic scales on his sax. Now he's jamming out up there and I'm really into it. Edit. A lot of people are telling me to let him know how good he is. I'm a studio producer musician myself, and my plan is to eventually ask him to join me in the studio. I'll record him jamming out and then make something cool out of it. We'll release it if he wants to. Edit 2. Goddamn, I did not expect this to get so much attention. Thanks. To everyone saying I should hurry up and ask the guy right away, here's the thing. I'm releasing an album this summer and a single right after that. Then, I'm getting my bachelor's degree in music production, so my schedule is pretty ducking packed for a year or so. However, I'm thinking I probably should just talk to him about it soon anyway, just to make sure he's up for it, then I'll get back to him when my schedule has cleared up a bit. The woman next door has a relationship with her cat that's interesting. She's a recluse in her mid-40s. Nothing wrong with that, but she doesn't seem to be handling it well. She treats it like a human, and I'm not talking about how much she loves it. Her relationship with it plays out as if he were an actual family member, dynamics and all. They have fights. A lot. Mostly, she feels that he neglects her feelings and doesn't appreciate how much time she puts into being at work and doing all of the housework. She wishes he would at least help take the trash out. And when she has sexy time with herself, she doesn't understand why he complains about having to go outside. Last night they had another fight, but I got home late, so I don't know what it was about. She spent about an hour throwing things and eventually kicked him out for a while. It's weird that my neighbor's husband was beating her, like straight up beating her. They had a 2-year-old at the time, and I knew she was a stay-at-home mom. So one day I had a weekday off work, went over with a cake, and made her my best friend. At the time she had a broken arm and 2 huge black eyes. She didn't have any friends as she wasn't from the area. I helped her with her kid, I helped her dump him, I helped her move back to her home province, and we're still best friends to this day. Edit. Here's some answers to some questions. I didn't call the police as I was young and scared and didn't know what to do. I was 18 at the time and had just moved to the city. One of the most dangerous cities in the country. I was worried that their kid would get taken away, or that he would know it was me and try to beat me up. Contrary to seemingly popular belief, I'm a girl, as indicated by the princess in my username, and I'm not a sizable one. I figured it would be easier for me to just be someone to talk to, and she could decide if she wanted to call the police or not. When I went over that day I was just the new neighbor wanting to make friends. This happened when I had lived in the building for about 3 weeks. I didn't even mention her eyes or cast that day. We just sat around and giggled and compared Archie comic collections. We legit became best friends in the matter of hours. I have not seen Drive, but I guess I should check it out. I for some reason thought it was about Ryan Gosling stealing cars. Whatevs, I'll give it a go. It was a McCain's deep and delicious marble cake, as I'm not a baker. My next door neighbor used to constantly break up with her boyfriend and have loud sobbing phone calls with her friends late at night. One time a friend even called the police because he was worried she would kill herself. I saw the police walking down the hall as I was coming home, and they thought I was her at first. Then they went into her apartment and spoke for 30 minutes about love, pills, and the importance of staying resilient in the face of breakups. The officer was a great guy, but I heard way too much. Edit. I can confirm that nothing romantic went down between her and the cop. He was a sweet, fatherly kind of guy who gave a sad young girl a patient ear when she was upset. She's now back with the BF, and their relationship became healthier after, I assume, she took the cop's advice to heart. I learned that my old neighbor's kid is an adventurer in the body of a 9-year-old boy. The first conversation I ever heard between mother and son was something akin to her shrieking, "What are you doing to the carpet?" "I'm digging a hole, Mom." I often heard her crying and one time asking him if he'd prefer to live with his dad because he seemed miserable with her. She thought that was why he was acting out. He ended up crying, too, and begging her to let him stay. So he did, and at least they seemed to get on better after that. To not end on a sour note, the funniest thing I think I heard was her shrieking, "Oh my god, where did your clothes go? Not here. What are you doing? I'm free, Mom. I'm free." She scolded him, but after I heard him stomp off, I heard her laughing pretty hard on the other side of the wall.
Like and subscribe for more funny, interesting, and scary r/ask Reddit videos.